Let's talk about why you should be looking beyond your parents to heal inherited mother wounds and father wounds in your whole lineage. Have you heard about mother wounds and father wounds? This video is all about why you should be looking beyond your parents and your grandparents to heal inherited mother and father wounds in your whole lineage. Hey there, I'm Ash Johns. I'm a certified psycho-spiritual life coach and ancestral healer, and I work with women like you who are ready and willing to unearth unseen generational patterns and heal family trauma and wounds so that you can go off and create the freedom that you are called to do in your life and in the world, whatever that might look like. So if you're already feeling my vibe, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to my channel. You can hit the little ding-a-ling bell situation if you like notifications, so you know every time I upload a new video, which is usually on Wednesdays. So when you hear mother wound or father wound, most likely you're probably thinking about your learned behavior, your inner child wounds that came about in the ways that you were raised by your parents or your grandparents or your guardians, right? I realize that a lot of these patterns and behaviors that we have learned actually go way beyond our parents and way beyond our grandparents, right? I want to open the aperture a little bit and bring you into the world of ancestral healing, or rather whole lineage healing as I have coined, and it's my unique process of making sure that whatever family wounds that are showing up in your own life are being healed in your lineage of those people who came before you and also in your whole life. So that includes living family members and also your ancestors. I won't be going into the symptoms of mother wounds and father wounds. I feel like there are a lot of videos about that all over the internet, and there are, certified and licensed therapists and practitioners of all different modalities who talk about that in great deal. I actually want to bring you into the concept of healing mother and father wounds, not just by yourself, but with your ancestors as well. But this video is going to be incredibly wonderful for you if you've been working on mother wounds, healing mother wounds, or you've been working on healing your father wounds. You've been doing coaching, you've been working with a therapist, or you might just be going on a personal development journey and these things are coming up, and then you're starting to get a little bit overwhelmed or frustrated that these different patterns are continually showing up. And that's the reason why I want to introduce you to whole lineage healing and a little bit more about this concept of ancestral healing. And so the first thing that I want to point out is that mother and father wounds, contrary to popular belief, right? Mother and father wounds actually pan across or pass through both sex and gender, sexual orientation, or any of those other identifying things of how you show up in the world, basically, or how you're seen in the world, or how you see yourself in the world. We've definitely heard of father wounds, and people tend to talk about that through the context of women or women identifying people, where they might have troubles with discipline or men or commitment or whatever it might be, keeping your word, like all those very simple symptoms, but very serious too. Or like having mother wounds of not feeling like you're worthy or not being able to have boundaries, right? Like those things are pretty well known, but what people forget is that you can have both of these kind of wounds playing out in your life, from both your mother's side and your father's side, specifically your mother's lineage and your father's lineage, even though it could also be your mother's father's lineage and your father's mother's lineage. We always have 4 main bloodlines. So that's a little extra tidbit for you. So the reason why this is so important to realize that you can inherit wounds and also blessings, but wounds from both father wounds and mother wounds, maternal lineage and paternal lineage, is because those are energetics that are playing out in your own life. Yes, with your parents, with your grandparents, but really they're energetics and conditions and behaviors that's been inherited even beyond them. And it keeps metabolizing into the family. And there's a dynamic that starts to happen between the mother lineage and the father lineage within you that starts to shake shit up. So a lot of times people are only focusing on, oh, I have mother wounds, or oh, I have father wounds, but you're not seeing how those particular wounds are playing out together, like a ping pong effect, if you will. So this is really important because when you realize that you might be dealing with 2 different kinds of wounds from at least 2 different lineages in your own life, from 2 parents and their parents and their parents, one, you can let yourself off the hook a little bit and breathe. And 2, you can start to look at the dynamics that are happening within you, not just with people, right? These are energies within you, learned behaviors within you that go way beyond just the people who raised you or the people who raised them. So we can like disidentify on just, oh, my mother, oh, my father, oh, my grandparents, oh, their grandparents, right? And we can say, oh, This is an energetic behavior that is running through my whole lineage, and I am now the receiver of two of these wounds, or two kinds of wounds, that I get to start navigating, healing, transmuting, and being empowered by, right? So mother and father wounds pan across your sex or your gender, and they also have a relationship with each other within you, and that could be playing up really big in your life. So I'll give a quick example, and this is from obviously the lens of a woman, because I am a woman and I tend to work with women and femmes and women identifying people. But a woman could have, and this is a real example, a father wound of abandoned, right? Being abandoned, father was not present, which shows up as lack of trust in her life. And we can talk about all these different ways that she shows that she doesn't trust in her life. Now, this is profiled as being very critical or judgmental, always judging other people, always checking, being skeptical because she doesn't trust, because she was abandoned by her father, which created this lack of trust and lack of stability, right? And the truth is that she really desires connection. She really desires to be able to trust that people will be there to hold her, to be at boundary, to have structure and expectation, if you will, safe expectations. Now, on the other hand, she also has a mother wound. The mother wound, she feels unsupported. Again, more than likely because in the mother lineage, or with her mother, her grandmother, and the women beyond that, the men were absent in some type of way, right? So now we have an unsupported, and we didn't even talk about why there's an abandonment wound with the father. We can think of all the ways, right? Or why the father wasn't present, or the fathers were not present. But now the mother, right, is unsupported, shows up as needing to be in control in order to have support and to control the variables of life, if you will. And then this is her turning into being profiled as an overachiever, right? Always needs to go above and beyond so that she controls, so that she feels safe, so that she is supported, right? So there's multiple levels to this, even though her actual desire is ease. So if you have a woman who is desiring ease and desires connection, however, she's very judgmental and having to be in control because she's lacking trust, right? We can see where these abandonment and unsupported wounds from mother and father lineages, maternal lineage and father lineages, starts to ping pong and create all of this dis-ease, dysfunction, anxiety, and just uncomfortability. So cycles of behavior, cycles of patterns, cycles of less than happiness in your life. So I just wanted to give this little example how there's two things, mother wounds and father wounds, playing out within you from both of your lineages or more than one lineage, and how that creates a whole scenario, situation, and narrative in your life. Let's keep going. So if you're already curious, because that in itself could be an entire lesson or course, you definitely want to get my ebook. It's Lay of the Lands. It gives you 8 ways into ancestral healing, and it starts to break down like easeful ways that you can start exploring the ways of healing in your lineage with your ancestors, so that you get to the core wound or the core root of these things in your lineage that's showing up in your own life. So the second point I want to point out here around healing mother and father wounds in your whole lineage, as opposed to just your own life, just looking at yourself or just looking at 1 or 2 generations from you, is that when you only look at your parents around mother wounds or father wounds, it's really unfair, to be honest with you, to be harsh. Like, hold your heart, y'all. I promise I'm gentle and graceful and understanding. But the reason why I say that it's unfair and it's a disservice to your healing and breaking the whole generational pattern here is because, again, these behaviors, these energetics, these ways of being are epigenetically passed down in a lineage. So if you're only blaming or looking at your parents as the root of the issue, or your grandparents at the beginning, we're missing that there are a whole bunch of links in the chain. And what I love to do is to show people how they can look across their whole lineage and see where the wound originally started, and honestly what the blessings were before that wound. So when you do that, you're kind of like letting your parents off the hook, but not because they are not to be accountable for the way that they treat you or what they taught you or what you witnessed as a child or what you learned from them, but because they are a product of other circumstances and situations, just as you are, and the people before them and the people before them. So sometime at some point in your lineage, it wasn't this way. When you do whole lineage healing or ancestral healing through the method that I do, which is whole lineage healing, you're able to say, oh, I can see my parents or my grandparents or my family as humans who are all repeating an energetic and learned behavior pattern. All right. So this isn't about giving a pass, but it is about opening the aperture to actually see with your own spiritual eyes and practical application, because I am both woo and applied practice. You'll be able to see that this is bigger than just you and bigger than just your parents. It's bigger than just 1, 2, or 3 generations. And therefore, we can heal you and your lineage from a systems perspective as opposed to just an individual's perspective. So I want you to take a pause and just think about what I've just talked about here, how you can have mother wounds and father wounds both affecting you and playing up in your life that are way beyond just the last few generations. I want to know which of these two is resonating with you. Is it that you realize you have both mother and father wounds playing against each other in your life? Is it that you finally are like, yeah, that makes sense. It's not really about me or my mother or my grandparents. It's about all of us and my whole lineage. I'm just curious. Let me know which one of those really resonate with you and have your eyes opening. If this is making you feel like, Ash, how the heck am I gonna go and look at my whole lineage? Don't worry. I have some beautiful guided meditations if you come into my community. And the only way to get in there is to just download this ebook. It's free. It's an easy read. It's a great overview. Before I get into the next topic, I just want to say, if you are wondering, like, really, can I really see how many generations back these mother or father wounds go? And also what it was like before that? Is that really possible? Yes, it's really possible. And I'll let you know that on average, it's usually 10 to 15 generations back, if not further, just to give you a hint on the work that I have done. And with my clients across the world and myself, minimum, it's at least 10 generations. Another point that I want to make as it relates to healing mother wounds and father wounds in your entire lineage and in your life is that really when we start to widen our perspective here and decenter our own experience and like the blame game, because that kind of comes up of like, oh, this happened because my mom and this or my dad and this, and like the heaviness and the grief and the shame. I just want you to realize that this is our behaviors is a result of compounded pain. Compounded pain from cultural and societal pressures, compounded pain from the disservice and trauma of being a woman, mother, or a father, man, right? And again, mothering and fathering are not binary experiences. So please understand that everybody is included in this conversation. I just keep it simple and I tend to serve women. So I'm going to speak in this language. If all the mothers in your lineage had to fight against women, right? Had to, there's more women in the village or the population than there were men. Of course, that brought up some strife, right? And some cultural or societal cues on how to behave and what to believe in order to survive and get your man, so that they could hunt and gather for you, right? Or they could hunt and you can gather. If women had to have children instead of and give to their children and nurture their children and not have any space to take care of and love on themselves, that is an energetic and behavioral pattern that's been created down a whole lineage of women, not just a few generations. So these cultural and societal experiences to survive have created these energetics in your lineage, and that's why we want to look at the whole lineage and help you decipher how to untangle it, how to restore it, and how you can be supported in your life by your ancestors by shifting these energetics and these behaviors. So what goes unhealed, what goes unsaid, what goes unchanged in our lineages still lives on even after death, right? And I'll do a whole video about things you need to believe or understand in order to even step into the world of ancestral healing, or my particular way of doing it, which is whole lineage healing, in a future video. The last point I want to make is that I know we all are about this personal development, right? Movement that is happening, right? The reclamation of self, understanding yourself, self-mastery, personal development, and like hacking our brains and mindset and all these things, which I'm clearly a fan of, right? But what I know is that new mindsets, new behaviors will not stay if we do not go through a process of purification and releasing what is old and transmuting what is not serving us. And that's just not from an individual perspective. It's from, again, the whole lineage perspective. So when we do whole lineage healing, we have an opportunity to see what keeps being passed down in the entire lineage by looking in the entire lineage with all the ancestors, right? Understanding how that's created a generational pattern, see how it's manifested into symptoms and beliefs in individual people, and then start to unravel all of that so we can reclaim the blessings. When you excavate these traumas, these wounds, or these beliefs in the whole lineage, you're able to create a whole new relationship with yourself and with the people with whom you come from and who still walk with you energetically and in the spirit realm. Like, our souls and spirits do not end. And that's the woo-woo part, but I'm always going to apply it to practical change in your own life if we were to work together or if you ever take one of my courses. So at the end of the day, if we don't ever get to the core issue, right, the core wound, if we don't ever excavate them, heal them, transmute them, right, and allow them to metabolize and dissolve in the energy body of our lineages, which is a whole system of people who came before us, we will repeat the same patterns over and over and over again, even though we think that we're not, because we put a new mindset on or a new thought pattern on. And yes, thoughts change our energy, they change our feelings. But how beautiful would it be, right? And this is literally whole lineage healing, where you're doing your thought change work and you're working on yourself in this realm, but you also have your ancestors doing their work in the spirit realm to alleviate these pains and these wounds once and for all. And you get to be the living face, right? The living person, a representative of your entire lineage, being the change that we want to see, breaking the patterns that need to be broken. So all of this is beyond just behaviors and thoughts, right? These are ways of being. These are energetic operating systems that live within us and our living parents, right? And living grandparents, and also within our dead folks, our dead grandparents, great-grandparents, great, all the way down all of our lineages. And those are the folks that we call ancestors. Those are the people that we're calling in to do the healing with us. So I hope that this video was informative and inspirational and just gave you a new perspective on how to think about mother wounds and father wounds through the lens of healing your whole lineage as opposed to just yourself, for lasting, deep change in your life and your lineage. If you are curious about this, clearly I've already mentioned it in the video, but I have no problem mentioning it again. Please find yourself to download my free mini ebook, Lay of the Lands. It'll invite you into exploring 8 ways into ancestral healing for yourself, so you can see the easy open door for you to start to explore these things in your own life for your people. It's a really easy read, so after you thumb through it or you give it a nice little gloss over, please share with me which path or which practice you're most interested in. You can @ me on Instagram @AshInspires. It inspires me to see that you're actually diving into this and looking at how this might serve you in your life. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this video and it's going to be wildly beneficial to you, your life, and your lineage. And if you're interested in more, I do drop new videos every Wednesday, so keep an eye out for those. They're always about ancestral healing, breaking generational patterns for wealth, love, and freedom. In the meantime, I hope you and your people are well. I hope you continue living your life to the best of your ability every single day with courage and compassion. Lots of love.